FurryCon tipping etiquette. And yeah, this is just normal United States tipping etiquette, but specifically for things that would apply to American furry conventions. First off, disclaimer, I'm not endorsing tip culture in the United States with this short video, and I'll explain further in a moment. But why bring this up to begin with? Well, dining at the hotel restaurant at Megaplex one year, I happened to ask our waiter if tips had been good. The server said, to my disappointment as a full-time waiter, that they had not been good. The entire weekend had actually been terrible, and that many servers had been completely stiffed or not left a tip at all. So ever since then, I've been trying to promote better tipping etiquette within our fandom. This is not, like I said, an endorsement of our American tip culture and shitty business practices that are the American norm. This is simply a plea to not punish the underpaid worker for our shitty system being a shitty system, while still subsequently pushing for systemic change. My experience lies in two fields here that I can speak on behalf of. First one, waiting tables. I've done this on and off for about a decade and a half, and for the record, this also applies to bartenders as well. So, are you dining somewhere at a furry con? Well, if the con is in any of these states, your waiter is making less than federal minimum wage. Over a dozen states have a minimum tip wage of $2.13 per hour, with many others having something between there and the federal minimum of $7.25. In fact, in many restaurants, servers are making so little hourly wage that they end up getting a $0 paycheck, as the hourly wage goes to cover their tip taxes. So they subsist only on your tips. There's this misconception with waitstaff that tips are extra on top of their wage. But in America, this practice is so rare that it was actually a news headline when a restaurant actually did it. And let's go further into the shitty business practices of corporate restaurants. Somewhere in the mid to late 2000s, a ton of greedy restaurant CEOs, presumably in a low-lit round-table, smoke-filled think tank office and twirling their mustaches like a Looney Tunes villain, got the idea that they could save labor costs and get another tax write-off if they found a way to pay their bussers and hosts a special tipped wage as well, also under minimum wage. But they had to be making tips in order to do it. And certainly you can't pressure customers to tip an hourly worker too, right? Yeah, that never happened. That's crazy talk. So they got the idea that, hey, don't servers and bartenders make like a lot of tips? Mandatory tip pool for all servers starting now. So let's create a hypothetical scenario out of this. You bring a party of 30 to a restaurant, and let's say you rack up an $800 bill. That's much higher than you expected, of course, so after some thought and calculating, you decide to leave the server $10, a less than 2% tip. Fun fact, the server now actually has lost money from your table. That mandatory percentage the server pays out to the bussers, bartender, and host varies by restaurant, but is usually calculated from a small percentage of the server's total sales at the end of their shift, usually 2 to 5% of that total. If the tip out is 2%, the server owes $16 on your table alone to the pool.